Good afternoon, Stuart, Florida. You're listening to Meet McBiz, a product of the Martin County Business Exchange. I'm Frank Mezzapel, and I'm joined with Lenny Anderson from ASAP. How you doing, Lenny?
Doing great. Had a great day, busy day.
Thank you for talking to our business group this morning at breakfast. It was fun and informative, and you are the go-to guy for anything having to do with mold remediation and getting your place cleaned up as soon as possible, right?
Yes, sir. Been doing it for 25 years. Mold remediation, water damage restoration, emergency services, Martin and St. Lucie County.
Right. And full disclosure, I guess it was sometime last year, we had a roof leak at my condo, and you came out and took care of the problem up in the ceiling, above the ceiling, and got me all dried out, brought in all your heavy equipment, and it was a couple, 2-3 days of that, and but all's well.
Yes, sir. That's what we do every day, 7 days a week. Happy to be of service to you.
Yeah, it worked out well. And then more recently, provided a wonderful service for Stewart Main Street, and at the Flagler Center, you also do cleaning. So you did an amazing clean on our floors in the kitchen, the bathrooms, all the tiled areas. You got them looking sparkly. So it was in dire need of some Lenny attention, and thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. I was glad to, participate. The Flagler Center. I've been in Martin County for 42 years. That's always been an icon right there. Matter of fact, many years ago, we used to play there. They had, hockey and
air hockey,
and other stuff to do to keep the kids out of trouble in the summertime. And so it is an icon, and I'm glad that you're bringing it back to life, and having functions and events there. So if you're out there, Martin County, and you need a place to have a function, a business meeting, or a big party, the Flagler Center, it would be a good choice for you.
Thank you, Lenny. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I want our listeners to know that you do more than just mold remediation.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize when you have mold in the house, there's a lot of different services that are going to go on. There's, there could be AC cleanup, wall cleanup, extractions, air scrubbing. So there's a bunch of stuff going on, and a lot of it is just keeping your house clean and germ free. And with all these germs that we're finding out, starting in other parts of the world, the best thing for your home is to wipe it down and to keep everything clean. Change your filters, keep your house dry, because water is not supposed to be in the inside of your home.
Unless it's coming out of a kitchen faucet.
Exactly. To drink, yeah.
Yes. Very, very true. So I see you're wearing your Yankee ball cap.
Yes, sir.
So getting all excited about spring training?
Oh, I can't wait. Every year, just this area is the super duper for baseball. Everybody comes down from all over the country to St. Lucie County to watch the Mets. Palm Beach County I think it's the Washington Nationals and the Astros.
Right. And
then, of course, Tampa for the NY Yankees, my favorite team. And, of course, the greatest team of all time. Plus, of course, I always see you wear your Detroit Tiger gear. So I had to wear my hat today.
Yes. Well done. Well done. So that's good. And it's good to support your team. And like you said, they're a winning team. So what are you expecting this year for the Yankees?
Well,
I mean, you're paying attention, right? What does their lineup look like? I mean, last year they kind of had a mixed year.
Yeah, last year they had a great year. They just had a lot of injuries. I mean, there's players out constantly. So the manager had a challenge to keep everybody healthy. We got cheated. The news is coming out that we got cheated in 2017, the Astros court cheating scandal.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff.
That conversation is still ongoing right now.
Exactly. So, I think all baseball, the steroids, and now cheating. I think the baseball players just need to go on their talent, their raw talent,
Mm-hmm.
and recruit young players from their farm system, and also colleges. And I think baseball needs to be pure. I don't want anybody changing the game. Has been around since World Wars were, and it was
Right.
always a peacetime for us to come together as Americans,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where you're from, to go to the ball
Right.
game. And I think it unites us more than any other sport.
So, what's your take on the designated batter?
Well,
Because you're talking about being a purist. So, the American League and the Yankees are in the American League. They use a DH, right?
I wasn't really for the DH in the beginning. It's been many, many years
since the 70s, I think.
Well, it's longer than I can even remember. I don't think they should have changed it. I also don't think some of the changes that they're doing now in reference to certain things. But we're in a society of high tech.
Yeah.
So now they're even thinking, instead of arguing with the umpires on balls and strikes, that maybe a computer could call the balls and strikes, so there's no,
who's going to throw you out of the game?
There's no human error there, so throws you out of the game. One of the other umps, maybe not the home plate ump, but maybe one of the other ones. I don't know, but
yeah, that'll be interesting.
One thing I don't like, because I was a catcher in Little League, I don't like the change where the catcher cannot block the plate. He has to give the runner part of the plate, which I don't like that. I was a catcher and I used to block the plate.
Sure. And that was your territory.
Right. And when the collision happened, that was part of baseball. And now they've kind of erased that. So disappointed in that.
So the catcher is supposed to take the front part of the plate and give the backside to the runner.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I understand there are rumors afoot that the National League may go to the DH rule as well.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And I think a product of that is the fact that they're doing more of that interleague play.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of confusion, So I think if you're playing in the National League house, you're playing with NL rules. If you're playing in the American League house, the American League rules. Okay. So the rules get blurred, once the DH. I do like the NL process where there's no designated hitter. It's entirely different management style.
Yes.
It's entirely different. And for a baseball purist like yourself, I can understand why you would prefer that over the.
Yeah, I like defense in baseball, and I like pitching. Where the DH, yes, the teams are going to score more runs, they're going to hit more balls out. Right. But I kind of like the pitching duels and the pitcher having to get up, because, of course, if he hits somebody maybe 2 innings before, he has to get up to bat. So it kind of puts a little
yeah.
When they don't go to hit,
a little notion in the back of your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So what's your most favorite moment in sports? Did you have like a standout moment that was just...
I think the best part about being a Yankee fan was when Joe Torre, Derek Jeter, the team that won, I believe, 3 or 4 rings in that time. I think that was the best time to be a Yankee fan. It's just everything was going our way.
Breaking your way.
Yeah, everything was breaking our way, from Joe Torre to Derek Jeter to Mario Rivera, Andy Pettit and Jose Posada, these guys that were the nucleus of the Yankee team. And that nucleus is no longer there, but at the same token, the Yankees have a lot of great young players that have come up and stepped up.
And the thing about the Yankees is their farm club is deeper than their farm club. Correct. Because they can reach into other dugouts and get some good players.
Yes, I agree.
So back in 2009, Lenny, John Sterling called all 5 Yankee home runs against the Red Sox. And this took place on August 23rd in 2009. So let's give a listen in.
Here is Jeter to lead it off, and Josh Beckett's first pitch swung on and drilled to deep right center. Back goes Baldelli at the track. It is gone. It went into the Boston bullpen. A first ball, fastball, first pitch, home run off the bat of the captain, Derek Jeter, to the 2700th hit of his major league career. El Capitan, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. And the pitch swung on and hit in the air to deep right center. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Hideki Matsui hit it over the Boston bullpen into the bleachers. What a shot. A thriller by Godzilla. The Sayonara Kid hits one out, and the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. Here's Beckett's 2-2 to Cano. Swung on and hit in the air to deep right center. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Over the end of the Boston bullpen and into the bleachers. A tremendous home run by Robbie Cano. Robbie Cano, don't you know? Another home run, and the Yankees lead 5-2. There goes Damon. Pitch swung on and driven to left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. A screaming line drive over the high wall in left. A 2-run Alex Rodriguez blast. An A-bomb from A-Rod. A 2-run home run. And the Yankees take a 7-3 lead. Here's the 2-2. Swung on, hit in the air to deep right. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. Hideki Matsui does it again. The second game this weekend, he has 2 homers in the ball game. A thriller by Godzilla. Oh, the Sayonara Kid rounds third, heads home, and the Yankees take an 8-4 lead.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So what did you think about that? That was a good call. Yeah.
Anytime the Yankees beat the Red Sox, Lenny is very happy. I'll go to work the next day very happy, maybe for a week. I'll be happy.
So what is the relationship between the Red Sox and the Yankees? What's going on there?
There's been bad blood for
ever since the Babe Ruth came over from Boston.
That's when it started. But more recently, I think the bad blood started when Pedro Martinez threw down Yankee bench coach onto the floor, and it started a brawl. And ever since then, it's just been more bad blood, even more. You know, they're very competitive.
Right.
Both cities are very competitive. Both teams are very competitive, and they have a long history of great players.
Yeah.
And I think the combination of all that really, when you put the Red Sox and the Yankees, no matter what time of year it is, it's always going to be a classic series to watch them.
Yeah. Yankees and Tampa Rays, similar, not really good friends. Yeah, I mean, there's some, I mean, especially when the teams are in contention, there's some friction there.
Yeah, I guess CC Sabathia for some reason was angry at Tampa Bay because of, I'm not sure if it was hit batters or verbal. It was some verbal stuff going on. And CC didn't really get mad very often, but when he got mad, you didn't want to be on the other side. And did
he bean a couple of folks? Is that what happened?
I'm not sure if he beaned them or it has something to do with that, whether he did it or Yankee staff did it or Rays, but I think it was more verbal jabs. Because Tampa Rays, I'm impressed with their team. They're very competitive for a small town, Tampa, which is not a huge city, but they don't have
a deep baseball history.
It's not as deep, but they're quite good, and they give the Yankees between the Yankees, the Red Sox, and Tampa. That division's one of the toughest divisions in baseball.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So who's in the AL East? You got the
Toronto? The Yankees, you got Tampa, you got Boston, and you got the Blue Jays. I think that's it. This year, like I said, I don't really study. I haven't studied them as much. I start looking at the
Mhm.
rosters. That's when I start attending the spring training games,
Mm-hmm.
because in the beginning of spring training, a lot of players are not even up really yet. So you don't
Yeah.
get the full value of your ticket.
Well, it's fun looking at the numbers when they got numbers like 99 or 87 or
Yeah,
something.
Aaron Judge,
Yeah.
99. Yeah,
Yeah.
the numbers have definitely gotten higher, I think, or something. Zero. I mean,
Yeah.
I never seen zero, but double zero or. But in the beginning of spring training, a lot of players are, they're not in the lineup yet. It's more, the hitting isn't as, it takes a
Get
while.
their timing.
Right, the timing, the pitching, and then right about in the middle of spring training, guys start getting warmed up. They, maybe had a nagging injury or something during the spring. They pull muscles
Mhm.
constantly
Oh, yeah.
because of hamstrings and shoulders. And you played baseball. I played baseball.
The warm-ups are so important.
The stretching, the
Mhm.
warm-ups, just everything. People think baseball's not physical until you play it. You realize how physical it is
God,
on
yeah.
your body.
Yeah. 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 So what's your most favorite position to play other than catcher?
Well, I was in the little league. I was
Mhm.
an all-star catcher. I
Mhm.
love catcher. It's
Mhm.
it's just to me, it's the best
Well,
position
you're the
on the
quarterback,
field.
really.
You're basically, yeah, you are, and you're in every play.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had such a good arm throwing people out at second, the coach would put me in pitching when our pitching wasn't doing very good, and either A, we were behind a lot of runs, or B, one of the pitchers hurt their arms. I would take the catching gear off, and I would go out and pitch, and that is like the second best position you could have is pitching, because it's every play. You get to really study the hitters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so much fun.
Right.
So
and
much fun.
as a catcher, you get to study the hitters too, and you can flash the signs to the pitcher, giving them the idea, whether you want to pitch them in or outside.
Exactly. Position of the ball of where
Mhm,
you want
mhm,
it. Exactly. It's a great game. I recommend it to any youth out there, who's not sure of how they're, what type of sport. I mean, baseball is just, to me, it's the greatest American game. I mean, I know the NFL gets a lot of ratings, but
mhm.
NFL hurt themselves there for a while. They're
Oh,
starting to come back a little bit, but they hurt themselves, and
They
they hurt
did.
their brand, so to speak. So
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, let's take a little timeout. I just want to get that. There it is. Let's.
Luxurious penthouse, perhaps.
Oh, wait a minute. What is going on here? All right. All right. So let's get a regulation timeout, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
And now it's time to meet Mr. Peabody. And now.
Fox Sports baseball theme music, kind of get you kind of geared up.
Get your blood flowing.
Yeah. So if you just tuning in, we're talking to Lenny Anderson from ASAP, and it's ASAP
Water damage restoration.
Water damage restoration. So he's the guy you want to call. What's the best contact phone number for you, Lenny?
It's 772-288-0292.
All right. Very good.
Call 20. We're available 24/7 for flood emergencies.
So you have a backup battery on your cell phone just in case, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's always plugged in and ready to go. And
Nice.
we hope you never have a flood or smoke damage or mold. But if you do, we've been in business 29 years. We've been started ASAP Water Damage Restoration in 1998. And we are here to help you answer any questions you may have about your home or business, whether it be an odor or moisture or mold. We will come up with a solution for you to eradicate that and to make your life and your air easier to breathe. And I think that's what people want. You should, not have to live in a space, whether it's at work or at home, and breathe bad air due to, mold in walls or your air conditioning system, or maybe you had water damage and you never really dried it out professionally.
Mm-hmm.
It will create bad quality of air in your home. So that's something that you do not want. So ASAP Water Damage Restoration, we're licensed and certified the state of Florida to remove mold in your home or business.
So you're certified, but I've been told I'm just certifiable. That's an entirely different stature, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. We're certified through the IICRC, which is Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certificate. It's throughout the United States, and I can dry homes anywhere in America with the certifications I have.
Nice. Very good. So John Campion called us while we were on that little break and loves the baseball chatter, and reminded us that he used to be a catcher as well. So he has your passion and but I see him now. He played outfield. He played all the positions, right? But I see him as catcher, not as a catcher. I see him more as a first baseman.
With that stretch,
He's got
the
that
long arm.
reach.
Yeah, the
Oh,
long
yeah.
reach. What team does he like, John?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, he might tell us.
Yeah, I never seen a cap on him. I mean, I know you're a Tiger fan, die hard. I'm a Yankee fan, die hard.
Yeah, he spent some time in the Carolinas. So I don't know.
They don't have baseball there. They have football.
He could be. Who knows? He could be a fan of the one from Georgia, right? The
Braves.
Atlanta Braves. So it could be an Atlanta fan. When I first moved down here in the 80s, and you're watching local TV, that's what they showed was the Braves.
Atlanta Braves. You either had to watch them or you didn't watch baseball.
Well, that's it. So, because the Tampa didn't have a team back then, Miami didn't have a team back then. So there was no local baseball teams to watch.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Their nearest team was Atlanta.
Turner Broadcasting.
Yes, TBS.
Yeah, TBS.
Mhm.
They were big. They were the powerhouse
Mhm.
of broadcasting.
Exactly right. But yeah. So what was your favorite series in baseball? The teams that I know the Boston Red Sox is the best for you, but as far as the World Series, what was the best series
now
play
you got
for
me
you?
thinking.
Because you had so many opportunities to watch so many World Series games.
Well,
It's
we
probably
beat the
difficult.
We beat the Braves in a
Mhm.
World Series. I remember that one. That was a good one. We beat. I think we lost to the Diamondbacks, didn't we? One year,
I think so. Yeah,
we lost to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks that year they had just a
They had the fastball pitcher.
they had
I can't think of
they
his
had
name.
just a stellar team. I mean, they were able, they could hit from both sides of the plate, take the ball out of the park, no problem. Yeah, they were powerful.
The
Good,
World
strong
Series.
pitching.
The World Series sometimes maybe not the best. What I like is the division,
the playoffs.
the playoffs,
Yeah.
and I like pennant races.
And it's the same way in football too. I enjoy the football playoffs more
than
than
the regular season,
the regular season or even the
preseason.
yeah, all that stuff.
I like pennant races because it's in October.
Mhm.
The weather's turning. It's getting cooler. You some of the teams, it gets cold. Like in Chicago, it gets
Right.
cold, and they got to wear double batting gloves, and they got that extra shirt underneath, and that's good fall baseball, and
Mhm.
that's when the teams who's going to make it, who's not going to make it, and in the division races like the Red Sox and the Yankees were always close.
Yeah.
Within so many games. So once you get past that, you end up playing the other Yankees or East Coast. You play the American League on the West Coast. Whoever wins that, then you play the best in the National League. The World Series, I'll be honest with you, I can't recollect anything special, but I always enjoy the divisional and the playoffs just as much, if not more, than the World Series.
I noticed you skipped over the Central Division.
Yeah, the Indians and the who
The
else is in?
Tigers,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
the Twins.
The Twinkies.
Which the Yankees beat again.
Yes.
They don't like the Yankees, the
No,
Twins. They can't beat the Yankees for some reason.
Yeah.
Now, the Tigers beat the Yankees in a lot of divisional series
have.
and sent them home early.
And then the Tigers fell apart.
True,
It's
true.
It's a head scratcher. I mean, they played, lights out against the Yankees.
They always do.
And then it's just like it makes you
I
scratch
think
your
they
head.
I think they just get so pumped up for the Yankees. They do great against the Yankees, but then when they go play other teams, they don't do as great.
Yeah. And which shows that as much as it's a physical game, it's a mental game
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Right?
It's a lot mental.
Isn't it what Yogi Berra used to say, right? Half of baseball is 90% mental.
Exactly, and 10% physical.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I agree. A lot of it is mental. It's a mental challenging game,
Mhm.
and it's physical. I mean, I know when I used to play, man, you use muscles that you don't normally use when you're swinging lumber. We used to call a piece of lumber. The next day, if you're feeling it. People think 90 feet ain't long. You try running out of the box down to first base, and then if you get a double,
Yeah.
That's a good stretch.
That's right.
It's great. Being on the diamond, so exciting. And I see a lot of kids excited, playing baseball. So it's a apple pie, Chevrolet, and baseball.
Mhm.
Is that's how I look at it.
Okay. All right. Very good. So going back to your business, you talked about it a little bit this morning during the breakfast meeting, and you happened to mention about all the different tools that you use.
Correct.
For identifying moisture and that sort of thing. Maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about the complexity of these tools, and that you just don't show up and pull out drywall. You do a lot more than just that.
Yeah, some of the tools I use when I first arrive at a property that we've been called out to for water intrusion, whether it's from the roof leak or coming in from windows or the slab, is you need an infrared camera. It's made by FLIR company. You turn this camera on, you can look through the walls, you can look at areas that your eye cannot see. This helps us identify the trouble areas in your home or business and locate exactly where the moisture is so we can remediate that area. Also, one of the tools that we use is a hygrometer, and what that does is
The moisture meter.
well, we have moisture meters that we can test the drywall, we can test the flooring, but to be able to know if your AC is working correctly, it's called a hygrometer, and what it does is it tells you the temperature of the room, it tells you the relative humidity of the room, It tells you the dew point of the room, and all these things can show you and pinpoint whether an AC system needs maintenance done, or maybe it is not running efficiently. Could be an older unit and it's not pulling the proper humidity from your home. So I would definitely recommend calling a professional AC company to check out your system. Remember, after about 12 years, your AC system declines. From just like a car, brand new, it runs great, but you put 150,000 miles on it, you start running and having to put money back into the vehicle. It's the same thing with your AC unit. The point I'd like to make is keep your ducts clean, wipe your grills, change your filter monthly.
So how do you keep your ducts clean? Because if it's dirty on the inside.
Well,
and the ducts are in your ceiling. So how do you do that?
A lot of people don't realize that their ducts are older and maybe have accumulation in them. And there are ways to clean the ducts. There's machines that can clean them safely and pull the dust and or spores out of it. But the main thing with an AC unit, a lot of the mold starts on the coil. So they do have lights now that you could put on the coil so you don't build up mold on the coil.
Oh.
So a
Like
lot
a
of
UV?
UV light. A lot of times the mold will build on the coil. It will also build on the blower wheel, or it can, the other way is if you have a leak somewhere in your home and there is mold somewhere that's getting into the air. It will go in the air and it will go through the filter that you have in your return air. It will, unless you get a super duper,
right?
What do they call it? Micro filter where it's going to catch the particles, the smaller particles. But if you don't, you need to change your filter every month. That will stop any mold getting into your ducts. So you want to stop it before it gets in. If for some reason it's gotten in your ducts, then there's ways to clean them with machines that clean them out and to vacuum them out, et cetera, et cetera. So,
well, all right. So maintenance is a big deal. So the listeners should be, if what I'm hearing from you is they should be contacting, if it's just routine maintenance, they should be talking to their AC people.
Specialists, yes.
Right. We recommend Kevin Sharkey from Sharkey Air.
Correct. I've used that company many times, and we've passed every mold inspection that we work together. Right. And they do that part, and then ASAP will do the other parts of the mold job.
So if Kevin gets in there and inspects it, he can also determine if there's a
mold issue, or if the machine is not operating correctly. Yes.
Right. He's got the equipment to do that too.
Absolutely.
And then you would come in and maybe clean the ducting.
No, Sharkey Air does the ducking, and
do.
they clean the ducts and they clean the coils, and then ASAP does the air scrubbing, all the cleaning, and also the mold removal, and we also do the drying. So we cover all the rest of the job, and then the AC is done by a certified, licensed AC contractor. Okay,
very good. Well said. And all right, and again, let's give out your contact information and where they can best find you. The best way is really by phone, right?
Yeah, best way is phone, but I'll also give you my email address. My web address. It's name of the company, asapwaterdamagerestoration.com. Also, phone number 772-288-0292. The phone number has been in existence for 29 years. I've had the same phone number and the same owner.
Nice. And that's a Florida Bell South phone number, local.
That's a local. You can't get those numbers anymore.
No. Very cool indeed. All right. Let's see now. It's might be time for. Let's see if we can. We'll just let Major League Baseball play us out. And we'll be right back, so stick with us. We'll have much more to cover when we return. Don't go anywhere. We are back. You're listening to Meet McBiz, and Lenny Anderson is on the on deck circle.
Right?
He's-
I wish.
Yes, right. So, what do we want to talk about next, Lenny? What's,
Well, besides
what's bubbling up in that bulbous brain of yours? That all the information that you have going on.
Well, other than baseball, I do like a little bit of
You
politics.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is up with that?
Well, I feel like the economy is really kicking into high gear
Yeah.
because I see a lot of people that I know in business.
Mm-hmm.
Their traffic is, their business is growing. They're getting more customers.
Yeah.
People have more money to spend.
Yeah.
I see it. You go to the mall on a weekend up here in Treasure Coast, and the parking lot's packed. You go to restaurants, and you got to put your name on a list. You go get gas, and there's 20 cars ahead of you. So it's all telling me that this economy is humming, and it's moving in the right direction. And I always tell people this, and I think I had it on Facebook. It's like, study the issues as best as you can and then vote. I never tell people what candidates to vote for. But I think it's important to study the issues that affect your everyday life. And when you do, and you get the facts, not just these little sound bites that we hear from politicians, but really go in and study what they're saying and their records, and you'll find out that some of these people are not what they seem to be. When you study their record and how they vote and what they stand for might not be what you stand for, your values.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to vote your value system and also vote from your heart.
Right. So do you think a lot of folks vote their pocketbook too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think if the economy,
You remember
yes.
that question that I think Ronald Reagan asked during the debates he was having with Jimmy Carter, and he said, do you feel like you're better off today than you were 4 years ago?
I remember that
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
And
that was a very poignant question.
yeah, and then George Bush Sr. lost his second bid because Bill Clinton said it's about the economy. That's
right.
Bill Clinton, talked economy, and
Right.
Bush Sr., in every presidency, the first 4 years you're getting your stuff, and then the second 4 years you
get to push your
you
agenda.
get to push your agenda. So
Right.
with Bush Sr., Bill Clinton came in and came in and talked about the economy and talked about jobs and talked about, but right now we have the lowest unemployment in over 50 years. We have lease regulations to grow. Companies are coming back. People are paying taxes. We need people paying taxes so our elderly on Social Security will continue to get their benefits and get their Medicare. So it's a system that works when you get the economy up to 3% growth a year. Back, a couple of cycles ago, we ran into that big, almost like a Great Depression, and the economy was only growing, maybe 1%. And it's not enough really to get people going and to get on the payroll to start paying taxes. You also notice that welfare, millions of people have come off of welfare, and they're working, and they're important in society, and they're working hard, and they're getting a paycheck.
Right.
And I think that has helped. And then of course, women are getting more jobs and filling more positions than men are. So they're playing a crucial part of our total economy is women in the workforce, and they're doing a great job. And also our military, there's a lot of women in our military now that are filling a lot of positions, and together, working together, America can be strong together as we move forward, and we can be the best country in the world again, which I think we lost a little bit a couple of cycles ago. That's just my opinion.
So, all right. Very good. So you got that out there. Well, it's your show.
What's that?
Today is your show.
Yeah, I also like Rush Limbaugh, and I'd like to say,
I've heard of him. Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot. I'd like to say I wish him the best as he's going through cancer. I just think a lot of people don't like him because he's very strong on his views, but as a person, he stands by his values. So we wish the best for him.
Right.
We always wish the best for our president, whether you lost the election or you won. We should always respect the presidency. I always have. I've lost a couple elections here and there. Most of them I've won. I've picked the winner. But the point being, when I lost, you don't disrespect the presidency.
You don't say he's not my president.
And you don't disrespect our flag, no matter who the president is. I'm a veteran. I put 14 years in the Navy. I honor the flag, and I honor our country, and I put that as a priority. And I think all Americans do. People that I know, if you never disrespect our veterans or wounded, or it's just something we have to put as a priority.
Thank you for your service. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, 14 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, 4 years on active duty, and then I put 10 years in the reserves, and I was stationed Orlando, West Palm, and Jacksonville. So I got the Florida tour, which was nice, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I'd do it again.
That's great. And you were in the Navy, right?
Yeah, I was on a destroyer. I traveled all around the world from 1980 to 1983, and then I came back to Stewart. And guess what? I was unemployed when I came back.
Yeah.
I should have maybe stayed in the Navy a little bit longer, but I got out, and it was in a recession here in Stewart in '83. It was hard to get a job.
I opened up my shop in 1983, and trust me, it was 18 months before I can even draw my first paycheck.
Wow. See what I'm saying? It was rough times back then. And then you remember the early 90s, the real estate was not doing well. And we had issues then. So when I started my business, getting my first few customers in 1991, I realized how difficult it was to start a business.
A lot more than just hanging a shingle.
Yeah, it was quite a challenge, and my heart goes to every business owner that tries to get a startup business, and it's not easy. And a lot of times, small businesses, we're not these big corporations who get a lot of breaks. We're mom and pop, and we're 4 or 5 people, and we're working our tails off to make ends meet and people to get paychecks. So small businesses is doing so good right now. A lot of people who own small businesses are actually saying, wow, it's great to own my business again, where it wasn't 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago. It wasn't.
Very cool. That means 5 minutes. Okay. So for those of you that are now watching on YouTube, we use hand signals when we're doing the radio. It's just so that we can keep each other informed while we're talking and not having to.
I think I'm talking too much, Frank.
No, it's an hour show. So it's like, if you don't
it's
talk,
gone by so quick.
Dead air. So we don't want dead air.
Yeah, it's gone by so quick.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of years of experience, and you belong to the Martin County Business Exchange, but you belong to a lot of other certification type agencies, right? The agencies that are part of the work that you do, so you can stay abreast of all the latest things that are going on, right?
Correct.
In your industry.
Yes. I've been to many schools. I'm certified at water damage. I'm certified at advanced structural drying. I'm certified at commercial drying. I'm certified at carpet cleaning. All these schools that I've gone over the last 15 to 20 years has helped me, gain the experience and the knowledge. I'm also a member. I was a member at Martin County Chamber for over 2 stints for over 20 years. And I'm currently, I'm an ELK. So,
very good.
Yeah, ELK is a very good organization. I highly recommend them. They do a lot of good locally, and they do a lot of youth. And they also support veterans very, very well. And I'm American Legion member also, that I've been for years.
Nice. So that means you can go into any American Legion outpost and
Elks and anywhere in the country.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that is cool. And I support them both. And they're very loyal to veterans and their organizations.
That's That's great. So, and all right, so let's give out your contact information and talk about your website. What is going on with your website? Is it just explain a little bit about it? Do you have like photographs or images or
Yeah, I've recently built a website a year ago. It's www.asapwaterdamagerestoration.com. And when you go on the site, we have a lot of information about carpet cleaning, drying walls, mold removal, all kinds, showing equipment, pictures, testimonials that people have gotten us. But my main thing is if people are happy with their services, to give us a Google review. Right now we have 27 5-star reviews. I'm trying to get 50
okay.
by the end of the year. So
I think you should hit that
I
number.
think I should
You're
hit
already
50
halfway there.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Google
Nice.
Google gets us a lot of calls. So that's our number one
They're
lead
like
source.
the yellow pages of technology
Correct.
today, right?
Correct.
Isn't that
Absolutely.
amazing? God, I remember when I started my retail business, I had to fork over $1,000 a month to the yellow pages.
Yep. And now everything is Google,
Yeah.
Facebook. It's all changed. There's no more big fat yellow pages where you flipped it open. Now everything is on the computer.
Right.
So I think it's better.
Yeah. Well, and you have access to more information too, and we can actually look up people and find out more information about the people, the services that we want to provide. We want to provide for us. And that's the nice thing about the Martin County Business Exchange. You can go to our website too, and you can find Lenny mentioned there. You can hyperlink from that to his website, which is pretty cool. And then you can learn more about all the people that belong to the Martin County Business Exchange and the services that they provide.
Correct. It's a great organization, and there's like 40 to 50 professional business owners. And I find I've been in there for 14 months, and I find the businesses there are very professional, and they take their business serious, and they take it to the next level. I'm very happy to be a member.
Very good. Lenny Anderson from ASAP, we thank you for giving us an hour of your time here at WSTU. And we look forward to seeing you again right here.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you for your time.
All right, buddy. See you later.